What's going on, guys? Hope you're well wherever you are, whatever the time, and welcome back to another video. And going a little bit old school with today's style of video, doing one of those old school commentary videos. I don't know if, like back in the day, like me, if you watch the Hodge twins or Physiques for Greatness, them kind of guys, and they'll do commentary over their training videos. But it wouldn't just necessarily be them talking about just the workout. They'll be talking about other things as well that have been going on in their life and whatnot, and make it a little bit entertaining. So I thought, you know what, let me throw it back a little bit. That sounded weird, but let me throw it back. Let me do it old school and do a little voiceover over this leg day. So this session was actually on the Monday, and I've done it with my client Adam, who's been a client of mine for practically 4 years now, which is insane. And what's really cool about having a client for that long is you just see them go through so many things. You see them go through different relationships, different jobs, just different periods of their life. You see them grow mentally, and it's really cool just to see, almost just be on, like, it's maybe sound a little bit corny, but almost go on like a life journey with them as well. And I'm just so grateful that he's had that faith in me to coach him and help him progress with his physique over those 4 years. And it's not like we train together every single week, but when we do, it's nice to see the progression that he's made. And it's just awesome. So yeah, we done legs, we done my glutes and hamstring session. And as always, with both of my leg sessions in the week, I started off with calves. One of my leg sessions has a toe press, which means that my leg is completely straight. And then in this session, you're seeing us do the seated calf raise, which is tremendous. And you're essentially just trying to bias the two different muscles, or one of each of the two muscles within the calf. So the gastroc and the soleus. And yeah, that's basically all we done 2 sets on the calf raises just to start things off, because we do calves first. It gets them out of the way. You don't really enjoy calf training, but you got to get them done. You can't complain about your calves not growing if you're not doing a decent amount of volume and you're not pushing yourself, and you're not treating calves the same way that you treat your hamstrings, the same way that you treat your biceps. So yeah, we done that first just to get that out of the way. And I hold the same principle as well with, will have the same principle with abs. I just want to get them done and get them out of the way. You still take it seriously, but you just want to get stuff like that out of the way. Do you know what I mean? So take it to failure and train your calves properly. And then once we've done the calf raises, we'd moved on to the seated hamstring curl. And this is a movement that I do before my Romanian deadlifts, because I feel like it's beneficial to do some kind of pre-exhaustion to the hamstrings, get that area warm before I go into a hip hinge. It just feels a lot safer. And you'll also see as well that I'm using a seat belt, because it just locks you in. It keeps your hips down. It's very easy to kind of have the tendency to rise your hips up when you do this movement, but the seat belt helps obviously mitigate that problem. So I do 3 sets on this normally. And again, it's just your standard kind of top set, and I do 2 sets at 12 to 15 reps. What was really cool about this session as well is me and Adam had a good conversation about wanting a little bit more out of life. Adam is somebody who, well, we basically met when we were both personal training in Pure Gym. This was years ago. Like I said, this was about 4 years ago. Now, my God, yeah, 2019. Jesus, 2019. So that's where we met. And I went on to continue personal training, and Adam moved on to more so kind of corporate jobs. And he's now kind of getting back into the swing of coaching and helping out a few friends and whatnot on developing that side of things. And he's wanting to get into making content as well, and just getting back into that game, because it just turns out that his passion, what he mostly thinks about, is just health and fitness, his physique, well-being, coaching. That's what takes up his thinking throughout most of his day. Do you know what I mean? And if that's the way that you feel towards something, I think that's what you should chase. That's what you should pursue. But his thing that holds him back a little bit is not having that confidence to film content, feeling like the people are going to be judgmental, wanting to be liked, etc. And I think these are all normal things that you feel as a human. I think everybody wants to be liked by people. I think it's a normal trait to have, to want to be liked, to want to be desired. But it's almost just trying to get your head around trying to ignore that as much as you possibly can, and going for it really. And it's just good to. He mentioned as well how it's been quite inspiring for him to see that I've grown the YouTube channel a little bit and I'm being consistent with content. And the reason is because I don't want to live the life that I'm currently living, and the actions that I'm doing now are driving me towards a life that I want to live. And if I don't do those actions, there's 0% chance that I'll ever get to that life. There's no chance. That it's just literally no chance. It's not just going to happen. So yeah, it's one of those things, man. And like, I think if you have something that you're passionate about, there's always the excuse of, I need more time, I need more money, I need to get a camera, I need to do this, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. Everybody can use those excuses. You literally just need a phone and you can get started with something, and just go for it. And I always think, if you're worried about what people think, yes, that is a normal concern I think that most people will have, but the people that are really bothered about you talking in front of a camera or filming yourself, as long as you're not an absolute asshole, like, they're just insecure about their lives. They're either insecure about something, you're either doing what they want to really actually do, or something, like I said, bothers them in their life. They're not happy at home, they're not happy with their job situation, they're not happy with their relationships. Something is bothering that person to where what you're doing is bothering them and annoying them to the point where they have to make comments or whatever it is. And one day those people are going to die, and one day you're going to die, and it all just won't matter. So you might as well just go for it. And this isn't me being, because I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I think in terms of a mentality, I just it's not like I don't care, but it's like you just got to do what's necessary to try and get to where you want to get to, and you can't let the opinions of others stop you from doing that. Also as well, one thing that helped me and one thing that I said to him is, what do you think when you see people in the gym making content? And he's like, well, I don't care. It's like, okay, well, that's probably how most people think. Do you know, like, most people probably don't actually care, and it's a very small minority that it does bother them. But again, you could probably find satisfaction in the fact, or just feel sorry for those people because something's probably bothering them. So yeah, that was kind of part of the conversation that we had, and just other conversations about not really wanting to lead a life that's considered normal, not wanting to go down the route of like, you get older and then the money that you save up all goes towards getting a mortgage, and that's pretty much it, and you just go from there. And it's just, we just think that there is a little bit more to life, and we both kind of agreed that we think the best kind of investment that you can make, especially when you're young, is investing into yourself, investing into a craft, investing into just learning more, investing into developing your skills. That investment is just going to take you so much further, and taking risks. The problem is that is it's not the common thing to do. The common thing to do is save your money, get a mortgage and settle down, or save your money, go to uni and settle down, or whatever it is. And the unconventional way is a little bit riskier, but I think on the other side of that is probably a life that you genuinely want, not one that is just expected of you by society. But anyway, enough of that. You would have seen as well after the adductor that we done, because again, that's all part of the leg musculature, right? You don't want to have small adductors. It's going to close that gap between your legs. We done the adductor, and then we done RDLs. I done RDLs. Adam actually done the leg press because Adam's got deadlifts literally as I'm recording this, so he missed out on the RDLs because he actually wants to be able to deadlift a few days after. Make sure with the RDLs you're warming up properly. I am going to be bringing out a reel on this where you need to take your warm-up sets as seriously as you do your working sets. Yes, we know that you can lift 1 plate. We know you can lift 2 plates. We get it. You move swiftly with the weight. Cool, bro. You're strong. But the point of the warm-up sets isn't just to get the hamstrings and glutes warm and the lower back. It's actually to almost train the body to let it know, okay, this is what we're doing. This is the pattern that we're doing. If you go from doing one pattern with your warm-up to another one in your working set, how have you prepared properly for that working set? So make sure you're warming up properly. That was a big set by me though. I done 108 kilos for 11 reps. I've been struggling with some lat pain for the past few weeks just because I pulled it on an RDL set at Iron Bodies, and I'm pretty certain it's because I used a whippy bar and it pulled on the lat a little bit. But yeah, that was a good set for me. I'm still kind of keeping reps pretty high just to try and make sure I don't rip my lat off the bone. But that was 180 for 11. Then I done a back off set at 150, pause reps for about 10 reps. And then we moved on to leg extensions, which were brutal as always. Literally the cue for leg extensions is don't fling your legs out from the bottom. Almost just drive up, contract the quads hard, and then just come down slowly. Endure as much pain as you possibly can. The set doesn't end when your legs start to burn, because if that's the case, you're leaving a lot of reps in the tank, a lot of reps. So you go when you just go until you can't go anymore. And I think that's a pretty fail-safe way to grow your quads, to be honest with you. So leg extensions, that's really the only quad movement or main quad movement. We then finished the leg session with a deficit Bulgarian split squat on the Smith machine. I really like using the Smith machine for split squats because I don't have to worry about balance, right? Like I'm just on like one plane of motion. It's just easy. I haven't got to worry about tipping to the side like I do with dumbbells. And I can obviously progress. I'm going to let that pass. I can obviously progress the load pretty well as well on the Smith machine. And I've got pretty big goals for this. This felt heavy as hell though, especially with the deficit and trying to keep the reps pretty much as continuous as possible. Just trying to move up and down, keep moving. Try not to lock out and endure as much pain as possible. The main target for this is obviously going to be the glutes, trying to get a lot of hip flexion. Yes, you're going to get a bit of quad, a bit of rec fem in that supporting leg, but the majority of this movement is really for your glutes. There's a lot of talk about like, oh, move this leg forward or back to bias the quads a bit more. I think if you're doing a split squat, it's really going to be primarily for your glutes, and then you're going to save like the quad work is really going to be down to your squat patterns and your leg extensions. Do you know what I mean? So but yeah, overall this was a terrific session. The first session of the week, I always start off with glutes and hamstrings, and then I go on to my push workout. But this was a good one. So Adam went home. He couldn't use his legs anymore, so a successful session for him. His legs were destroyed. Went home, and obviously great to catch up with him as well. I finished this session with lat pull downs because I need more lat. And again, there's no rules when it comes to training. If you need more lat, put in some more lat movements, and it doesn't matter what session you do it on, just make sure that you can recover from it. So this lat pull down being at the end of this leg session has no impact on my legs, it has no impact on my recovery, and the next time I do pull is on Saturday, or the previous session I done it on was a Saturday. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this style of video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Any questions, drop a comment below, and I'll see you for the next one.